Hi guys, what's up? It's your girl Charla from That Girl Cooks Healthy. Today I'm gonna show you how to make some gluten-free Jamaican boiled dumpling. This is an essential must-have Caribbean recipe that you need for your Caribbean cuisines. Really simple. Cannot wait to show you guys how to make it. So let's get to it. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. It's a really straightforward recipe that doesn't require many ingredients, so that's the great news. So I'll tell you what they are now. So you'll need some water. So I'm using warm water, especially if you're making gluten-free dumpling. It's better to use warm water. I found that when I'm making gluten-free dumpling, that warm water is always better to use. So you need some warm water. So I have 2 lots of water. So I have some warm water to make the dumpling, and I also have just some cold water for boiling the dumpling. You also have 2 lots of pink salt. So some pink salt will be going in to the saucepan when we're boiling the dumpling, and the other bit is just for taste when we are making the actual dumpling. So I have some gluten-free flour as well, so you can use any type of gluten-free flour for this recipe. I do find that my homemade recipe, and I will put the link to that in the video, so you can go to that if you want to know how I make my flour blend. So I'm using my own homemade gluten-free flour blend for this recipe, but you can use something like buckwheat. Buckwheat is not actually wheat based flour, but that's one if you want to use something which is the equivalent of whole wheat flour. You can use something like that. So most gluten-free flour blends should work for the recipe. So the first thing we need to do now is I have a large saucepan, and I'm just going to pour in some water. So when you fill your saucepan, you want to fill it by 3/4 of the saucepan. So you just want to make sure that there's a small amount of room left. So you don't want to overfill it, but you don't want to underfill it as well. So when I add the water, I'm then going to add some of the pink salt, and I'm going to bring the water to boil. So it's really important that you have the water at boiling point. You don't want it to be lukewarm, you don't want it to be in the cold side. It must be boiling, or you will ruin the dumpling. The dumpling will become tough. I've never done that before, but that is something that I know you shouldn't do. It's an absolute no. So you want to make the water at boiling point and just leave it to just boil while you're making the dumpling. So now you can see that the water is boiling. You should see that steam hopefully in the video, and I'm just going to just go a quick stir to dissolve the pink salt, and I'm just going to leave it to boil while I am actually making the dumpling. So now we're going to make the dumpling. So I have my gluten-free flour in a medium-sized bowl, and the first thing I'm going to do now is just to add some pink salt to that flour blend, and I'm just going to use my hand just to mix it in so it's completely combined. You can use a spoon if you want to, but I just use my hand because I'm going to be using my hand for kneading the dough. So next I'm going to add some water. So you want to add the water in increments. Don't add it all at once because you don't know if you're going to need all of the water, and then you'll have to go back and correct it by adding more of the flour. So just add a small amount of the water at a time. As you can see there, I'm adding the water with one hand, and on the other hand I'm just kneading and just bringing everything together. So you want to continue to do that, adding a small amount of water at a time. So I have about 2 cups of water, but this is an estimate. You might need more, you might need less. So just keep kneading until the dough ball to be pliable. So you don't want it to be floury, and you also don't want it to be sticky. So pliable is just pretty much in between. So it's firm, but it's not sticky, but it's not too flat. So I've finished kneading now, and this is what my dough ball looks like now. As you can see there, it's not too floury and it's also not too sticky. Just gonna use my fingers all to press it, and it's nice and springy, and that's what it should look like. So I've finished kneading now, and this is what my dough ball looks like now. As you can see there, it's not too floury and it's also not too sticky. Just gonna use my fingers all to press it, and it's nice and springy, and that's what it should look like. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make the dumpling. So now I have my dough ball. I'm just going to pinch off about a golf ball size of dough. You can, if you want to, instead of just pinching off a golf ball size amount of the dough, you can do it in equal parts, but this is traditionally how I do it. I pretty much eyeball it, and then I roll it. So you can see there that I roll it in the palm of my hands, and then I just press it out. So you want to just roll it in between the palm of your hands, and then you want to just press it down, and then you just want to flatten it into like a disc shape. And that's pretty much how you make the dumpling. Another way you can do it, we call it spinners, and that is pretty much like it's like an elongated sausage, if you want to call it that. But I'm not going to show you how to make that one today. I'm just going to show you how to make the disc shape dumpling. So you just want to continue to just pinch off again about a golf sizable amount of dough. Same thing again, you just want to roll it in between your hands, and then you just want to just press it down and flatten it, and then you just want to shape it into a disc, and then you just want to repeat that step as well. I am quite a perfectionist when it comes to making dumplings, so sometimes I might go back and redo it again if it doesn't look to standard. So just excuse me if I do that. So I'm going to show you a few on camera, and then I'm going to show you what they should look like. So I have my dumpling that I just made on a plate. I made about 6 of them. 6 is about pretty much what I expect with the size that I've made them at. And now we're just going to boil them. So now it's time to cook our dumpling. So I already have the water boiling on the stove. So what you want to do now is just carefully lower your dumpling into that saucepan. So be really careful when you do that. You don't want to have any backsplash, so just be very careful when you lower them into the water. And once we add them to the water, what I usually do is I leave them for about a minute or so to cook, and then I use my spoon. You'll see me use my slotted spoon, and that just helps to lift them from the bottom of the saucepan, and it prevents them from sticking. So I just give it a quick stir, and then I leave the dumpling to cook. So the dumpling takes pretty much about, say, 20 minutes to boil. You'll know when they're ready because they will start to rise to the top. So this is what the dumpling looks like after about, say, 20 minutes or so. As you can see, the color of the dumpling has changed, and also you see that the dumpling has pretty much risen to the top. So that's perfectly normal. So they start to get a bit more floaty when they have cooked, and that is how you make some beautiful Jamaican, I know Caribbean people have them too. So this is how you make boiled dumpling. It's a really simple recipe. It's one that you can have with your ground provisions on the side as a side dish. You also can have it with a stew or soup. Very common to have it in, particularly Saturday soup. You'll find it in that. So it's an essential recipe. It might seem very basic, but it is one that once you master it, you can add that to so many dishes, and it is also a traditional one too, but gluten-free. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, engage with me as well. It's really important. I would really love to engage you as well. Please don't leave me hanging here, and I will catch you on the other side.